Welcome, I'm Caren, and thanks for joining me for this restorative yoga practice. We're going to combine the breath with the body. Willow wants to join as well. We'll combine the breath and the body in a very gentle way so that by the time you're done with this practice, you might feel a little bit more rejuvenated and less exhausted. What you'll need for this practice are 2 blankets, a bolster if you have it, or perhaps just 2 pillows. If you don't have a bolster, grab a couple extra pillows. And maybe an eye pillow, if you feel comfortable closing your eyes off with the eye pillow. Let's get right into it with legs up the wall. So please take whatever you're seated on off to the side, and we'll grab 2 blankets. In legs up the wall, you'll need an open wall space to spin your legs up. And we'll use 2 blankets, one close to the wall for a little bit of softness and elevation for your hips, and another a bit farther away from the wall for your head. Come to sit against the wall with your back and one of your hips, and then facing inside, whichever arm is closest inward toward the blankets, you'll reach that arm forward, barrel roll, and lift your legs up. You'll have to readjust once you arrive with the blanket underneath your head and the blanket underneath your back. Find some space so that you can either rest your arms wide to the sides in a V, or if you like, perhaps rest the arms into more of a cactus shape for some opening in the shoulders. After you've arranged yourself, allow the inner ankles to lightly come together, the knees to be soft, the toes to be soft. And find yourself arriving into stillness. At any point during this practice, if you notice that some part of your body is not comfortable or full of ease, full permission to move yourself so that you are. If you feel any numbness or tingling in your fingers, a general rule is to bring the arms down closer in towards your body. Readjust the blanket if you need underneath your head and neck. And find your leg bones sinking heavily down in toward the hips, in toward the ground. If it's comfortable to close your eyes, you might here, or take the eye pillow and drape it on top of your eyes. Let's pay attention to the breath, just noticing how it's currently moving in your body without changing it. And now let's begin to even out the inhalation to the exhalation for samavriti, a same breath, an even breath on inhale and exhale. So take a deep breath in through your abdomen. Feel the breath fill up into the lungs, into the throat. And empty everything back out from the throat, the lungs, the abdomen. Breathe in from the abdomen to the heart, to the throat. And breathe out from the throat to the heart, to the abdomen. You can come to an even breath here just with a felt sense of evenness, or if it's helpful, use a count of the breath. Perhaps inhaling to 4 or 6, and then taking that same count that you've chosen to exhale. If you find your mind wandering away from the moment of breath, just gently remind yourself to come back, to experience just the breath in the body right now. Let go of any judgment you might have against yourself, any story that might be created from noticing that you weren't paying attention to the breath. And this is our practice of presence, not perfection, but of allowing ourselves to come back again and again to what is here now. Patience and kindness to ourselves in the process. Please release a count of the breath if you have it. Release the attention to even inhale and exhale. And just let the body breathe as it wants. And then slowly, bending the knees in, slide the feet down the wall. Rest for a moment with your feet on the wall, your knees in, and bring your arms around your legs if you like, if that's comfortable. Draw the knees into the chest. Reach one arm overhead. Roll to that side, sliding your feet down the wall, your knees to the ground. Rest for a moment as you find the sensation flooding back into the legs. And when you feel ready, press your palms into the ground and inhale, lift gently up to a seat. We'll come away from the wall space and transition into simple supported back bend. So grab the blanket that you used against the wall and place that at one end of your mat with a little bit of a roll in it for your ankles. Take the other blanket and place that at the opposite end of the mat for your head. And find a bolster or a couple pillows to place closer toward the head blanket than the foot blanket. So sitting with your back against the long bolster, extend your legs long, and this is where you'll either accommodate, your knees, if you like, or your ankles with the blanket. If you notice that you tend to have some lower back pain when you're back bending, then place that blanket underneath your knees rather than your ankles. Lower yourself onto the bolster or the pillows so that the tips of the shoulders begin to touch the ground instead of the prop that you're on. And then readjust here the blanket underneath the head so that there's a little curve, a fold of the blanket to meet the curve of your neck. Extend your arms down by your sides and take any last little adjustments here that feel necessary so that your shoulders are heavier, your low back feels comfortable, and your head is completely supported. Notice if you've arrived and it's just too much opening for your back body, find a smaller fold or a blanket of whatever prop you have underneath your heart. If it completely isn't working out to have your legs extended, I recommend bending the knees instead, taking the feet wide and knocking the knees together. Often that can alleviate any pain you might have in your low back. So after you've set yourself up in what feels right for you at this moment, sink in with a deep exhale. If the feet are extended long through the legs, let them flop a little to the sides. Same with the arms, palms toward the ceiling. We'll add a simple pranayama to this posture so that we can find even deeper relaxation and letting go. On your next breath in, breathe deeply so that you feel the back of your heart press into whatever it's against. Hold at the very top. Open your mouth and exhale the breath. Again, breathe in through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. Open the mouth. Exhale. In through the nose. Hold. Exhale, mouth. Do that a couple more times with yourself, your own pace. Feel the pressure build on your inhale. Now completely relax on your next exhale. Release all pressure in the breath. Let the body get even more loose, even heavier, draped over the props. Let the breath breathe as it wants. Relax even more into your face, your forehead, and jaw. Notice if you're holding tension in your shoulders, surrender them toward the ground even more. Let the body become heavy like a stone. Solid, heavy, and sinking inward toward the ground. Find one more breath in here. And one more breath out. If your legs are still extended, bend your knees first, one at a time. Plant your feet underneath your knees. We'll simply roll to a side of your choice, reaching one arm overhead, and continuously roll, dropping your knees to the side so that you can lift off of what's underneath your heart, set it to the side, and come back onto your side. Feel the absence of that prop. Let the skin remain soft, the muscles soft. As we transition to a seat, press into your hands and lift up. We'll be coming into a supported child's pose next. So you'll need your bolster and your pillows, as well as possibly both of your blankets. So bring the bolster long ways in between your knees as you come to already set up for child's pose with your legs, toes to touch, knees wide. And for myself, which might be different for you, I find that having higher props allows me to relax more fully. So I'm going to stack both of the pillows on top of my bolster so I have more height. Feel free to build this height up as much as you need. Then we'll find one of the blankets, and that blanket will go around the back and tuck in a little bit to the sides. One other thing to consider is if your knees don't bend as easily as mine do, you might take that blanket and instead roll it up, lift up, and bring the blanket in between the knee and the leg. And this will allow you some space to come and fold forward with less tension happening here in the knees. So if that's appropriate for you, go ahead and take that variation now. The second blanket could be rolled up a bit, placed at the front of your props so that you don't have to turn a cheek to the mat, but can instead keep your forehead long to the mat. So here's what that looks like. After I've set everything up and gathered the props in toward me, lower the chest down, forehead perhaps in line with the spine or a cheek to the mat if that's more comfortable. Let your arms drape by your sides. No holding on in the arms. Just a gentle loosening of the shoulders, softening of the buttocks. Allow the props to completely support the belly, the chest. Bring back the even inhale and even exhale breath. Now let's change it up a bit with the breath, keeping your same smooth inhale. Exhale for longer. For example, if the count was easy for you, take a breath in to 4 and a breath out for 8. If you find that 8 is too long and unmanageable, try 6 instead. Please release the effort on the breath and relax into a natural breath. Bring easy movement to your hands. Plant down through the hands. Walk them toward you and lift the chest back upright, nice and slow. Once you arrive here, take a few moments just to awaken again through the eyes, through the body. And we'll transition into our final pose, basic relaxation. Take everything that you have here off to the side. Again, a blanket for the head. A bolster this time for the knees, or pillows for the knees. Grab your eye pillow if you'd like to use it. And take a blanket to cover the whole body. The body temperature tends to cool down when we rest in basic relaxation, so it's nice to have a cozy blanket handy. Or a little furry animal to keep you warm. And with the bolster underneath the knees and your legs splayed wide, ease your way onto your back. Set the blanket underneath the head. Maybe the eye pillow on top of the eyes. And we'll open the hands wide for our final rest. Palms face up. Make any final adjustments to the body, maybe to lift and lengthen through the heels, lengthen through the arms. Find the shoulders soft and drawing downward, the neck free and relaxed. And once you arrive in complete comfort, with no modification to the breath, invite your awareness to your nose tip. And simply observe the breath as it moves in and out through the nostrils. Notice where you feel that breath. The inner nostrils, the outer, perhaps even the upper lip. soften your focus. Just noticing and watching the breath as it moves in and out. Feel the relaxation wash over your whole body as you continue to become aware of your aliveness, your breath. If it feels appropriate, offer gratitude for this breath, this body, this life. Now release your attention from the breath at the nose and allow your inner tension to feel as if it is everywhere at once in your whole body alive and breathing. Simply watch any sensations that arrive in your body as you allow your awareness to travel throughout your whole container. Being the one who watches what is filling up the container, what is inside the container. Draw your inner attention now to the arms and the legs. Notice their stillness. And begin to offer gentle movement. Wiggling into fingers, flexing and pointing into toes. Allow more generous breath to enter the body. And use your exhale to arrive back into the space, feeling the heaviness of the floor. As you begin to move even more, bend into the knees, perhaps set the eye pillow off to the side. Maybe the arms stretch long overhead. And finally roll onto a side of your choice, curling up in a ball. Filled with relaxation, take your time to press yourself up to a seat. Any props that you need to sit up comfortably, bring them underneath you now. And as you arrive back where you started, notice the differences in your body, in your breath, and in your mind. That's it for this restorative practice. Whether your mind was running around like my little dog was during this video, or it was smooth and steady, try not to associate a positivity or a negativity with either one. This practice is all about finding more patience and kindness for ourselves as we approach and hold all things with equanimity. I look forward to seeing you next time.